You ever have someone threaten to feed your body to the fish right on your own front porch while wearing a $10 or $1,000 gown smeared in mascara and champagne? Yeah, that happened to me. 2 in the morning doorbell camera lit up, and there was Lydia Blackthorne barefoot out of her mind from the yacht club, gala hair like a platinum helmet, and mad as hell. I own this lake. I own every dock on it. I own you now. Sign the transfer or your fish food by sunrise. That's what she screamed, spitting half rage, half moët through the intercom. You know, for a woman raised on old money, she sure didn't know how to pick her battles or her victims. Thing is, I didn't just own the deed. I owned the dirt under her $4 million mansion, every slip of dock, every sunken log and grain of sand for 3 miles in every direction, signed over by none other than President Theodore Roosevelt in 1907. That fake deed she kept waving around. It was as real as the 3 bullet scars I still carry from the job that got me this place. She didn't know the feds were already wiretapping her husband's accounts, building a case on 3 murdered witnesses, and now her own death threat was about to be Exhibit A. All I wanted was a peaceful retirement, maybe some fishing. But you know how that goes. The day I moved into Wayward Point Lodge, the air was sharp enough to wake the dead autumn leaves mixing with diesel fumes, and some primal warning that said, "Don't get too comfortable." My name's Garrison Cross, though for 15 years the only names that mattered were on my undercover badges. The cartels called me Al Phantasma the Ghost. The FBI called me Asset 7. Customs just called me the guy who sank the Ghost Fleet. That's what this lodge was payment for ending the biggest smuggling operation on the lakes. Not an inheritance, not a windfall, just a prize yanked from cartel hands and handed to me because nobody else could handle it. The place felt haunted, even before I found out why. 5 acres of Michigan shoreline, a main lodge, built like a fortress, marina slips reinforced to take submarines, not pontoon boats. 30 feet down, there's a Navy subdock from World War II hydraulics still working, last used by cartel runners smuggling more blow than Lake Superior sees snow. I'd surfaced there myself once, 3 a.m., taped enough evidence to send 2 federal judges and an attorney general to prison. Good times. Inside, it was all dust, sunlight, and the ghosts of 100 criminal conversations. The boat slips, armored like bank vaults, looked out over the lake just as a convoy snaked up the drive, Mercedes G-Wagon, 2 black Suburbans, all muscle and menace. Lydia stepped out first. Diamonds cold on her throat, platinum hair lacquered stiff, her security strutting like Instagram models, hands twitching over empty holsters. "You need to leave. This property's under HOA jurisdiction. You're trespassing." Her voice had that moneyed tone like ice cubes clinking in expensive scotch. I held up the deed. "Federal transfer. Signed 2 weeks ago." She laughed, crystal sharp and ugly. "Federal property can't be privately owned." She was sure until I mentioned Operation Ghost Fleet, and her left eye did this little twitch like she'd heard that name before. She tried again, pressing closer, reeking of French perfume and fear. "Wolverine Lakeside HOA controls all waterfront access. You'll sign it over, or we'll make your life hell." She actually cited the Charter of 1887. That's when I smiled, just like I used to when cartel gunmen didn't realize the FBI was already in the trees. "You just quoted the law that makes me your landlord," I told her. "Your HOA has been trespassing for 36 years. Back rent. Let's say 47 million. Harrison Blackthorne. Her husband slithered out next, criminal defense suit, tailored sharp shoes worth more than most people's cars. Mr. Cross. "Let's be civil." He tried hand out like a peace offering. "Civil is not threatening a federal witness," I told him. I called him by the cartel nickname El Abogado del Diablo, and he actually flinched. Lydia's mask slipped. "I don't care what papers you have," she spat, leaning in. But I could see the fear behind the arrogance. "What would you do if someone showed up on your property claiming your home was theirs?" Drop a comment, because what I did next, let's just say you haven't seen Desperate until you've seen rich people lose control. After they left, the games began. Cease and desist letters duct taped to my door at dawn, so sticky they ripped off the paint. County inspectors rolling and sweating bullets hinting about anonymous donations and environmental violations. One Jeremy Fillmore finally admitted someone sent him with 10 grand and a warning. "This property's cleaner than a hospital," he whispered. But they'll keep coming. Day 3, my docs wrapped in yellow hazard tape, no badge, just theater. I found fresh scratches on the submarine lock metal shavings in the morning sun. Somebody tried to break in, but they'd need C4 or a Navy code to crack those doors. That's when Captain Roy Morrison knocked Vietnam vet eyes sharp as fish hooks jacket bristling with battle patches. "You the Fed who took down the Ghost Fleet," he asked, not a question, just truth. He'd watched the cartel run subs out here for decades, seen the Blackthorns pretend not to notice as their accounts got fat. "This lodge ain't just a reward," he told me, pouring a shot from an old silver flask. "It's bait, and the fish are already circling." That night, I searched the basement behind a bookcase down creaking stairs. I found a vault lined with files, the original Roosevelt deed, lake bottom rights, and perpetuity cartel contracts, even a Cayman Bank statement, Lydia's account, 47 million deposits matching the sub-runs I'd surveilled. She wasn't just complicit, she was the money woman. My hands actually shook. I called my old handler Terry, we missed one. Lydia was running the whole show. I laid out the evidence, doc logs, wire transfers, party photos. He just said, "Be careful. Rich people kill with lawyers." Things spiraled. More inspectors' bribes offered and refused. But Lydia made her fatal error. She filed a public complaint calling me a squatter. I countered with everything proof of ownership, evidence of laundering, murder, and racketeering. That same night, Lydia showed up again, mascara-streaked feet bleeding from the gravel, screaming threats at my camera. "I've buried better men than you in this lake." Federal agents, DEA directors, anyone who got too curious. She'd just confessed to killing Director Patricia Wally, missing 5 years now, finally accounted for. It was all on video. Harrison tried to shut her up, but she was gone, lost to rage and truth. Would you charge rent right away? Or would you wait for the perfect moment? That's what I did. At the emergency HOA meeting, Lydia tried to rally the neighborhood with a PowerPoint full of fake citations and legal jargon. I walked in late suit, crisp briefcase heavy. I projected the Roosevelt deed, the Navy charter, the cartel contracts, the bank records, let the evidence do the talking. The room erupted, property values evaporating before their eyes. Then for the kicker, I played the 2 a.m. doorbell confession, her own voice admitting to murder, racketeering, and more. Silence fell like a shroud. FBI stormed in right on cue, handcuffs for Lydia, and Harrison federal charges rattled off like grocery lists. 17 more arrests followed. The investigation stripped the whole HOA bare cartel ties, laundered dues, shell companies. The yacht club built with dirty money became federal property. Even the senator brother-in-law had to resign, caught in photos toasting the cartel boss. The dominoes kept falling. I didn't want to ruin innocent people. At a community meeting, I offered 99-year easements for lake access on the condition the HOA was dissolved. Everyone cooperated with the feds, and the submarine dock became a memorial to murdered agents. They agreed fast. The museum opened within a year, the local economy boomed, and for the first time in decades, the lake was clean, peaceful, honest. Lydia got 25 years, no parole. Harrison didn't last long in prison. Turns out betrayal isn't good for your health. The old HOA vanished, replaced by a real community board. Captain Morrison ran it with his daughter Rebecca, a maritime lawyer who became my wife. Yeah, we had our wedding right on the dock where Lydia once threatened me. Life has a sense of humor, doesn't it? Now I sit with coffee on my dock, my daughter toddling around in her life jacket, tourists asking if the stories are true. Did a HOA president really try to kill a federal witness? Did she confess to murder on a doorbell camera? Did one man really own an entire lake? I just smile and cast another line, because some stories are so wild you wouldn't believe them unless you'd lived them. So let me ask you, what would you have done in my place? Charged rent, gone public, or just enforced the law? Drop your answer below, because I promise you sometimes the best revenge isn't even revenge at all. It's just letting the truth surface and watching the sharks eat themselves. If you've ever tangled with an HOA or seen power abused, share your story. Because justice only happens when people are willing to fight for it and when the cameras are rolling at just the right time.